Alright, so now that we have the pages done, we will create the cover. So it's going to look like this. I can't get it all in frame at the same time, but it's going to fold over like that. So you've got 2 pages on this side and 2 pages on this side, and they're going to overlap. Alright, so your chipboard pieces you will need are as follows. You will need one that is 10 by 6, and then you will need two 6 by 8, and then you will need one that is 6 by 2.5, and one that is 6 by 2 3/8. So just a smidge shorter, or shorter than the other one. I don't know if you can see that there's just like a tiny bit. Can't really, it's hard to show you, but there's an 1/8 of an inch difference between the two of them, because you want one to close over the other, so it needs to have just a tiny bit more height to be able to close over the other properly. So get those cut out, and then you will also need 4 cardstock hinges, and I've backed these with Tyvek. Right, so cut your chipboard pieces, and then bring in your scoreboard. These are going to, the hinges are going to be scored in half. So they're 1.5, so 3/4 for each one, and score it down the center once you have the Tyvek on them already. Alright, sorry, I'm not sure what I missed there. I didn't realize my camera had turned off. So we've got our 4 hinges that are 1.5 inches across by 8 inches long. You're going to score each of them. Well, first you're going to put Tyvek or duct tape or something like that on the back to help prevent it from tearing. And then you're going to score each one of them in half, so at 3/4 lengthwise. And then we're going to fold on the score lines. We are going to miter the corners just a little bit. Alright, get rid of all those. And then crease each one of these folds with your bone folder. Alright, and now we will get our pieces together. So your largest piece, your 10 by 6, will be in the center. And then you will have your smaller, your 6 by 2.5 on the left hand side, your 6 by 2 3/8 on the right hand side, and then your other 2 pieces which measure 6 by 8 on the ends. Alright, and so what we're going to do, I'm using black chipboard, so I'm just going to put it all together with hinges. I'm not going to wrap the entire thing like I normally do. Now if you're using regular, like craft colored chipboard, you probably want to wrap the entire thing, and if that's the case, there are many tutorials on how to wrap it, on how to wrap a cover. I think if you go to my Golden Romance tutorial on YouTube, I wrap a cover there so you can see what it's like, because I'm not going to show it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some adhesive, some score tape, onto the inside of our hinges. You can also use wet glue if preferred, either way. Alright, and now make sure to leave a little space beside the score line, and then remove your backing. And start with the centerpiece. So line up the center and put it onto the hinge with a little bit of a gap between the chipboard and where the score line is. And then take your, we're going on the right side, so this is your 2 3/8 piece, and you're going to line it up even with your center piece of chipboard, but you're also going to leave that little space. And then you're going to fold these ends over. Okay, and then we'll do the next piece. I think on this one I'm going to use wet adhesive. Got my Tombow. I'm going to put wet adhesive on the inside of the hinge, making sure to stay a little ways away from the score line. First side, place it down, leaving that little bit of room. And then the final piece for the right side, line it up and leave some space beside the score line. So you've basically got about 1/8 of an inch. And then fold those end parts over. And you're probably going to have to hold them here for a little bit until the glue adheres. And that will keep it down there as we go to the next one. And then this is the 6 by 2.5 piece. So line it up, leave that little bit of space, and fold these over. And then the very last one, this is your last piece of chipboard here. Oops. This glue does take a little bit to dry, so this will help it along. Alright, we'll set this aside for just a second, let it dry. Alright, for the binding system, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock measuring 5.5 by 6, and I've already backed mine with Tyvek. Again, you can use duct tape if you prefer. This is just like I did with the hinges. And now we're going to score them. And our pages, because they're going to be flipping that way, and then that way, and then that way, and that way. So in order for them to like layer up properly, we're going to do 2 different measurements, sets of measurements for the hinges. So the left side, you are going to score at 1 3 inches, and then 3 3 inches. So 1 3/4, 3 3/4, and then you're going to flip your paper over, and you're going to score at 1 1/4, 2 1/4, 3 1/4, and 4 1/4. Okay, so that's your left side. And now we're going to put score tape just on these 1/2 inch sections. So you've got 4 1/2 inch sections. So you've got 2 there, you've got a full inch in between, you've got 2 1/2 inch sections here, and then you've got just over an inch over here, and then about 1.5 inches over here. Okay, so this is meant to be longer than this, so don't worry, we haven't messed anything up. Alright, so now remove your score tape backing. And you're going to fold it so those 2 pieces that you just removed the backing from adhere together. Alright, and then fold back on those other 2 folds. So we're just following the Valley Mountain rule here, and you get that. Okay, so that's your first hinge. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So in between the 2 1/2 inch sections is a valley. So we're going to fold that until it turns into a mountain, right? So remove the score tape backing, and those 2 adhere together. And then you've still got 2 folds that were mountains, so now we're folding them the opposite direction. So this is what you're going to have. Okay? And that is going to go on the left side just like that, with the longer portion going towards the middle. Alright, so let's do our right one now. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, that was along, yeah, whew, just make sure I did it right. That was, the 6 inch is along the top, and the 5 inch is this way, 5.5 inches this way. Okay, so again, our other piece, 6 inches along the top, this is going to be your right side hinge. So we will go 1 1/2 and 3 1/2, and then you're going to flip it over to the Tyvek or duct tape or whatever side, and you're going to score at 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright. And now we're going to do the same thing as we did on the other side. We're adding score tape to those 1/2 inch sections. Alright, so it should look like that. Now we'll remove the score tape backing. And these 2 1/2-inch sections adhere together, and the other 2 beside them fold back. So you've got your first hinge. And then do the same thing. Again, remove your score tape backing, adhere the 2 sticky parts together, and then fold the other 2 back like that. And you should have that. So it's again a long section on one side. Now we're going to, first I forgot to do this actually on the other one. We're still going to do it, but it's easier when it's not on the thing. We're going to miter these corners a little bit so that it's the pages slip in a little bit easier. Your left hinge system is going to go right here. You're going to make it so that the edge is even. Let's see if I can lift it up. So the edge of your hinge binding whatever system is going to be even with this, the little parts that you flipped up. So make it even with that. Alright, so we're going to put glue on the back here. Oh, I think I got a little carried away with the glue. I think I'm going to have some seepage coming out. Oh well. Okay, so the longer portion is going to go towards the middle, and you're going to line it up with that edge here and center it top to bottom. There's going to be a little space on the top and a little space on the bottom. And now you can use these paper clips again to kind of help it adhere. And use your fingers a little bit just to really make sure it's getting stuck down there well. Alright, now your right hand side. Alright. Oh, I got a big clump of glue there. I don't want that. And we're going to adhere it to the right part of our cover. Now the long section, again, we're going to line up these edges. The long side should be even with your top and bottom. Alright, so now just maybe add some paper clips to help this until it's dry. And keep working at it. It's going to take a little bit before it's completely dry. And once it is completely dry, then we will add our pages. Alright, so once your binding system has dried, take your ruler or something like that and put it in the creases to help lift them up so your book closes properly. Alright, and These ones did not adhere all the way. Now we are going to put our pages in. So using wet adhesive, add your adhesive to the front and the back of each hinge. And then get your opening. So your first page is going to go on the farthest hinge on the left-hand side. All right. And now you're really going to have to be patient with this because it's going to take a little bit to dry. So your second page is going to go on the farthest right hand side. Your third page will go on the left-hand side. So you're just slipping the opening of your base page over the hinge. And then your last page. Oh, I already got a little bit too much here. Alright, so once your pages are in, it will look like this. And it'll close up and they'll slide against each other. And now I've just put 3 magnets over here and then their counterparts over here for a magnetic closure. You can use whatever closure you like. You can do one of those a swing closure or ribbons or whatever you like. I'm doing magnets for this one. And so now all it's left to do is put some paper on the covers. I'm leaving them flat because as this closes, these pages slide over each other. So I didn't want anything that might interfere with that. So I'm keeping it fairly really simple and just putting pattern paper. I might do a little bit of embellishing, but I'm going to keep it pretty simple. So this piece is going to go here, and then you might want to go through and put some paper in the gussets, and yeah, just make sure whatever embellishments you do use, the pages will still slide together like that. So let's put this piece on. Alright, now we just have to do the covers. So the covers, I mean, you can do whatever you like. I'm just going to keep it fairly simple. And you've just made yourself an album. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll come back, I'll do a full walkthrough of the tutorial so you can see what it all ends up looking like, but I'll let you do the cover on your own, and that's what it looks like on the inside there. And that's all there is to it. Alright. Well, I hope you enjoyed it and have an incredible day. Thanks. Bye.